All right, so we've got some good news, and that news is that I bought a trailer. It's a 6x10 trailer, and I think it's going to be really good for hauling junk and different construction projects that I need to move a larger amount of product.
Alright, so let's talk about what I paid for this rusty piece of gold. It was listed on Facebook Marketplace locally for $700, and I talked the guy down to $600. I tried to go a little bit cheaper than that, but he wasn't really budging, and I figured that was a fair price for this 6x10 trailer for $600. You can't really go wrong with it. Now make sure you stick around because I'm going to explain a little later in this video how I made this trailer make me some money, so it was basically free. So while I was driving the trailer home, I noticed that one of the wheels was shaking in my rearview mirror, and when I got home, I made sure I jacked it up and shook the wheels just to see what might be wrong, and both of them were a little loose, so I started taking it apart to see what actually causes this issue. So as soon as I got the trailer jacked up, I popped the wheel off and pulled the axle cap off because I wanted to see what was going on near where the bearing was. And as soon as I was able to get that off, I realized that the nut inside was movable by hand. So all I did was pull out the pin and just tighten that nut with an impact wrench. Now when you go to tighten that nut, you do not want to hammer on it with the drill. You want to snug it up just enough to where the wheel isn't wobbling around. And the best way to test it is to throw the wheel back on, and once you have it tight, spin it, and you only want it to spin half a turn once you let go of it.
All right, so that was a nice easy fix. All I had to do was tighten down the wheel bolt. I don't think it'll need a new bearing. And the only other thing from there that I'm gonna need to do is just pack it more with grease because when I was working on it, the socket and everything took a little bit of the grease out, and I don't think there's supposed to be that little in there. So I'm just gonna pack it full of grease and just call it good. So the next thing I'm gonna hop into is checking to see if I can get this dump function to work. You're showing me that you lift this up to release it, and then I think it's supposed to lift up. I don't know what this bolt is, or if it's supposed to spin off and maybe allow it to tilt, but how it works is there's a U channel all the way across this beam right there, and then when it tilts, pivots on that bolt, and then the whole back side of the trailer falls down while this separates from the front half. And I think that's how it works. So it looks like that nut is welded in underneath. So I don't think that actually spins or anything. I'm wondering if he has it set up to where this nut on top spins off, and that allows it to release and lift upward. So let's see if I can't figure this out. Now it's not fully tilting right now because of the wires being attached to it, so that is holding it up. But I think everything in the back isn't. So I'm gonna try cutting these zip ties on this wire and see if that doesn't let it go the rest of the way. So that worked exactly like I thought it would. All you have to do is just slam that back down. That lever clamps over it. And then for the safety measure, put this rod back in, screw it on. I can do this one-handed. There we go. And there's your security for it to not fall away. And then boom, you're ready to ship. If it fits, it ships. So Tractor Supply had exactly what I needed, and it was called a trailer stake pocket. And essentially what it is just a little U-shaped piece of metal that you can slide a 2x4 down into, and you just weld it into the trailer, and it essentially just bolts to the 2x4 to the trailer. And I got to thinking, I don't think I'm gonna go with that one because they didn't have enough at Tractor Supply Company. And on Amazon, they cost $67 for 20 of them. And I think that's a little too much money because I'm already gonna be spending $200 in wood. So I don't think it's worth it. And the trailer's already metal. So what I'm gonna do is just take the 2x4s and put them on the inside, and the walls on the trailer are already metal. So what I'm gonna do is just drill a hole through the metal and through the 2x4, and then use a bolt with a washer on 2 sides just to hold it up. Then I'm gonna do some horizontal supports so that I can make walls essentially. I also hit the deck pretty hard with a hammer. I thought it was rotted out and it didn't go through, and it was actually holding up pretty strong. So I think what I'm gonna do is, after I get all the 2x4s up, I'm just gonna paint everything and let that current deck just rot out, and once I can step through it, I'm gonna essentially just replace it with a new set of plywood. All right, I had someone call me while I was working yesterday, and they needed some junk removal, and it turned out to be the perfect test for this new trailer. So I'm gonna hold off on building these walls, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do this job really quick before I get started. It's a rainy day here in Toledo, and it's gonna be a fun one because I'm just pulling some junk out of her garage and also removing a metal shed. So I'll kind of show you how I do that. So here's the shed that I'm removing. It's pretty well anchored to the ground. I don't know exactly how yet. So I'm gonna have to get creative with how I do this. I'm probably just gonna take a Sawzall to it and hopefully just rip it apart pretty easily. Here's all the trash that's going. Just a bunch of cardboard, random stuff from her moving in, other random miscellaneous junk. All right, we're all loaded up. Kind of used some of the pallets as walls, and then the neighbor actually stopped me and she asked if I could grab some stuff from her. So I grabbed a bunch of junk off of her wall in her garage, and it was actually a custom garage door, and then a bunch of wood hoses and that was actually an extra $100. So about $400 today, and that'll be some good money to reinvest in the company. So I finished going through some of this stuff, and there's a few things that I deemed worthy of selling, and I'm just gonna post them for nice and cheap. Hopefully make a couple extra $100 on this. First thing I got is this custom 1-car garage door, full set. And that was from the neighbor's job. She just didn't want it sitting in her garage anymore. I've got a 2-count boob light, and that actually only has 1 in it, but I think that'll sell pretty cheap. Got a pretty nice lawnmower. I tried pulling it, it makes compression and it's not seized, but I think it's too cold for it to actually start. I even tried pulling this one because it's missing a gas line and some other stuff, so probably just post that up for 20 bucks. And then got these decorative outdoor pillows. All right, so we just got back from dumping all the trash at the landfill, and I'm not sure how much it costs because they bill you at the end of the day and they don't tell you while you're there. But I'm thinking it's gonna be close to $100 because I have a 2-ton minimum at least, which lands me right under $100. So I'm expecting it to be right around there because I don't think I put 2 tons into this trailer. So we'll find out at the end of the day. And we also sold the garage door for 90 bucks and one of the lawnmowers for 80 bucks. So that puts $170 in our pocket, in addition to the 400 that we already collected. So I think this is gonna be a pretty good deal. Completely cleaning out the garage and taking out the shed and then helping out the neighbor. All of that took me an hour and a half, and then I took everything home and took some pictures of everything that's worthwhile and posted it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm hoping jobs like this keep coming in because they're super easy and I get to help these people out. Anyways, I'm gonna end this here, and in the next video, we are gonna work on adding walls to the trailer. So if you like this video, make sure you click like and subscribe and leave a comment down below and let me know some of your money-making ventures that you have going on right now. Catch you in the next one.